recording. Okay.
Ready?
Yeah, ready. You can go ahead, so.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the July 9th, 2026 Zoning Board of Adjustment meeting of the City of Jersey City. Joseph, do we have any sunshine announcement?
Yes, in accordance to the Open Public Meetings Act, public notice of this hearing is provided and posted with the city clerk. For a little announcement for members of the public, when it comes to the public comment portion of each hearing, please raise your hand. If you are calling in via phone, you could press *9. If you are going from your computer or through an app on your phone, there should be a raise hand feature on Zoom that will raise your hand for you. And then once staff sees you, they will call on you. And if you're on the phone, press *6 to mute or unmute. Thank you.
All right, thank you for that. May we have a roll call?
Yes,
Joseph?
certainly. Commissioner Burns,
Here.
Commissioner Allen,
Here.
Commissioner Patel,
Here.
Commissioner D'Angelo,
Here.
Commissioner Chaplicki,
Here.
Commissioner Coviello,
Here.
and Acting Chair Arujo.
Here.
We have 7 commissioners present. We have a quorum.
Okay. Can you swear in the staff?
Yes, would you
Bridget?
raise your right
Thank
hand
you.
and sworn? Do you swear or affirm the testimony or comments you will make tonight will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, so do we have any correspondence or adjustment? Adjournment?
Yes, we do. For case Z 2026-0025, for a preliminary and final major site plan with D variances for 240 Fairmount Avenue. The applicant is requested to be carried to the September 17th zoning board hearing with preservation of notice.
I'm sorry, that was what number was that? I didn't get that.
Sorry, case number Z 2026-0025.
I said 002. All right,
Yes,
okay, so that's going to be postponed?
that's going to be carried to September 17th with preservation of notice.
Okay. All right, thank you for that.
And that is all.
All right, so I'm gonna make a brief announcement. Please be advised that no new cases will be heard after 10 p.m. If we will try to finish the case being presented at that time. However, if the applicant cannot be heard due to the lateness of the hour, then the case will be carried over to the next regular scheduled meeting with preservation of notice. Okay, then can we start with the new business, which is the first case is 020250023.
Yes, it's
That's
preliminary.
12 Market Street.
Right.
Is Ben Wine here?
Yes, I'm promoting him to panelist right now. There we go. Hi, Ben, can you hear us clearly?
Ben, you look a little lost. Can you hear us?
Yes, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. But before you start, let me tell you this. We had an issue getting the transcripts to some of the commissioners. So out of the commissioners you see here now, only 1, 2, 3 were present at the last hearing. Out of the other 4 that are present here, they haven't read the transcript
Or watch the video?
or watched the video. So you might as well just carry this. There's no point.
I could. The only thing, so Vinny, I appreciate you giving me the heads up, obviously. The only thing I would ask then, if it's okay, because obviously we need a minimum of 5, but 7 would be ideal. The only thing I would ask is, since we made revisions and submitted them 10 days ahead, and I believe that, I think it was actually Madam Acting Chair Arujo who was most vocal, I would say, and necessitated the revisions, or was the impetus for the revisions. I'd like the opportunity to present them, to share them. Obviously, everybody on this call can hear testimony tonight, And then ideally, as long as we kind of get to a place where we don't feel there's anything more needed, we can return at the next meeting with hopefully a full complement of the board having reviewed the first transcript. Would that be okay with you, Vinny?
I think that's what you should do. That's a good idea. This way, who's ever is coming into the August meeting, we'll let them make sure they have read the first transcript and this transcript. So the next hearing will, assuming we get, obviously we're gonna get through tonight, we'll go right to a vote in August.
Okay, I appreciate it. And thank
That'd be
you
great.
obviously for the heads up.
Mm-hmm.
So, Madam Acting Chair, unless you have any questions, can I kind of jump into my reorientation?
Please do.
Thank you. So, as the board is aware, and I'm now aware that only 3 board members are aware, but as the board is aware, this is an application for preliminary and final major site plan approval with D and C variance relief for the property located at 12-16 Harmon Street. And for the record, that's block 17206, lots 13 and 14 in the city's R1 zone. We were here last month presenting our presentation for a proposed 13-unit residential development at the subject property. And we went through our architectural and our planning testimony, and specifically spoke to the fact that the variances we were seeking were somewhat technical in nature, but driven by the way we chose to orient this building. So specifically, we talked about an option for an as-of-right development at the planning board, which would be the same 13 units we're proposing, provided we provide the same affordable housing that we are providing here. But we had met with the neighbors and had realized that there was a significant concern generally about our overall proximity to the property line along our left side property. And what we elected to do is effectively take the portion of building that would have been 3 stories on that side of the property and place it as a partial 4th story on the opposite side of the property. So what that does in effect, it creates a height variance, the D6, which is why we're here. And since we are not permitted that height, we're not permitted to consider it a compliant density. And so we're seeking the density variance as well. We are still maintaining the affordable component, the 10% that we would otherwise provide. And again, the impetus here was to be able to provide a significantly greater setback than an as-of-right development along the residential neighbors. When we met last month, the takeaways that we got, there was actually at the time that the then chairwoman Coyle brought up, and I think she was spot on about it, that the R1 neighborhood does, and the R1 district does have design standards, and she felt after reviewing it, and I think it was echoed by a couple of board members, including some that are here tonight, as well as one of the members of the public, that the design standards were not being met at that time, and so we came away with some homework assignment, and we also, for what it's worth, did not have 7 members at that meeting either. So we adjourned the meeting with the opportunity to take those comments and put it into what we hope you'll believe is a full overhaul of the architectural design, which we're going to show you this evening. So what I'd like to do is present our project architect and our project planner. They're not going to rehash all of the testimony on the record because the general metrics of the project have not changed. But I think it's important for Mr. Bodner to review the architecture, which, like I said, is a rather large overhaul of what you saw last month. And then for Mr. Height to be able to provide a little bit of a refresher as to why what we're proposing meets the statutory test for being a better planning alternative than what would otherwise be permitted at this property. So I know that was a little bit of an introduction, but I think it was highly relevant. So, Madam Acting Chair, unless you have questions of me, I'm happy to turn it right over to Mr. Bodner.
No, please do. I have no questions.
Thank you, and thank you for hearing me out. So, Russ, are you on the call? Joseph, if you can look for Russ and Charles Height.
Mr. Bodner, if you could raise your hand.
And don't say anything else. 1 second, please.
Sure.
I see Russ Bodner. I see Charles Height. I see Charles Height's raised his hand. Russ,
say anything
I
else.
see your account.
You're not on the record. I just said, don't say anything else.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. I got Mr. Bodner, if you could raise your hand.
Do I need to give him a call or is he still not?
I don't see him on the list. I see Charles Hyde. I see
I
Charles Hyde,
see
but
I
not.
see Russ Bodner. He's not raising his hand, but I see his
Yeah.
account.
Let me see. I'll promote him right now. Here you go. Okay, both of them have been promoted.
Perfect.
Audio and video may be off.
Russ, I hear you. I don't see you.
Yeah, give me a second. There you go. Now you should see me. Oh, no, here. Now you should see me.
There we go.
There
Hey,
you go.
would you raise your
Somehow
right
it's
hand to be
off.
sworn? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this proceeding will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
And stating your name for the record.
Yeah, my name is Russell Bodner, Bodnar. I reside at 52 Long Hill Road in Long Valley, New Jersey, and my license is current and in good standing.
So, assuming it is still in current and good standing, I would submit Mr. Bodner
Yes,
to remain
we accept his
as an expert.
credentials.
Perfect. So, Russ, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to share my screen. If I think I need.
You want to share yours? You want to share mine?
I'm going to share mine only because I set it up and I'm actually pretty proud of myself in a pretty
Okay,
technological.
well, I set up something
way.
different, so that's why I was wondering if you
Oh,
wanted that
all
one.
right, so go ahead. So go ahead. You can bring up your screen. That's fine.
Yeah, here's what I was thinking, because what you showed me yesterday, I was thinking maybe this is better. This is what we showed last time.
Hold on, Russ. We're not seeing your screen.
You don't see it. Oh, wait. Here. You didn't send me the share screen here. Share. Set request.
Okay. All right, I'm allowing you to share the screen, so you should be able to do it on your end, Russell.
Okay, are you seeing my screen now?
Yeah, I can see. We can see your screen.
Okay. Last time we actually showed this rendering, which is like what we showed to the board. So yesterday we were talking about something different. So I just want to make sure that they were understanding. This was the one we showed. Nobody liked the color scheme. There was lots of problems that they didn't like the black. They didn't like all this other colors in here. And it wasn't really mocked out very well with the neighborhood. So what we did, we got rid of the red brick and all the stuff, which was a great suggestion. All the suggestions we got were fantastic, I thought. And to make it look a little bit more traditional, we went with, here's our new latest combined. This was a combined one. Wait, never mind. Let me go to the new rendering. Now the new rendering looks more like this. So we got to put it into the actual layout of, having the adjacent building next door and obviously the building to the left. And we were kind of told, like, let's work with a beige color brick, which kind of matches a little bit closer to the neighboring building. And so they had a brown cornice. I decided to go a little bit more of the brown cornice. And we were talking about using some of the traditional elements on this with a little bit more of a modern flair along the cornice on the top, as well as like all the trim work here now is in that brown look, but it's also like an actually it's a composite material trim that won't rot away, but at the same time it's a painted material in like a Hasbrook brown. So we were thinking that's a much more attractive looking building for the neighborhood, and it looks like we're trying to like stay and emulate a little bit more of the buildings going up than the modern looking building going more towards the right. So as you can see, we were talking earlier about how our step is. The neighboring building is 5. We have our 4 here, and then we step down, and then we're closest like this parapet here kind of basically matches our parapet, even though we're 3 stories, and this is 2 and change. Our parapet matches the top of that parapet, which is something we were talking about. It's actually in my other drawing, but not on my 2D drawing, but not on the 3D drawing. As you can see here, we have ample distance between our neighboring building and us. By doing that, we're giving that rear yard setback a little bit more, area that was requested by the neighbor. So this is really basically our big gist is our change from that original rendering, which you saw a moment ago, And I think this rendering makes the building look a lot more traditional, one. Two, which lends itself better for the neighborhood. Two, which also brings the materials and the character of the neighborhood into play on our building, which I think is a much more successful and much more handsome looking building than what we had originally designed. So I think this
Yeah.
looks much nicer with the windows. We put grills in the windows to kind of give it that more traditional feel instead of the more modern feel to the right of us. So we were really thinking this was kind of like almost like a home run. I personally think this is a really attractive building now. And I actually think it really lends itself well for the neighborhood, especially with the step down and giving the room to the neighbor, because if we go up next to the neighbor and we bring the building up, and this is a little off in scale. I told the renderer I wanted to remove it, but you couldn't move it that far. But this is only about 15 feet. In reality, it's like 20 feet, so it'd be over by the window here. So if we brought that up, it would be like nothing against them at 3 stories. I mean, we'd just be cutting this off.
So Russ, I wanted to ask, and I
Would be
think this,
nice,
Russ, I think this is a good image to maintain. And for the record, I don't believe, Vinny, that we need to mark this as an exhibit. It was submitted 10 days before, so it is on the portal. Russ, the question I wanted to ask you, because I think this does show it well, what I was alluding to in my opening, that partial fourth story, or really 2/3 fourth story over there, effectively, give or take a little bit, that's effectively the square footage that we would be permitted as of right in that space along the side at 3 stories. And what you've effectively done out of deference to wanting to create more separation from really the only residential neighbors that we have along Randolph was you shifted that bulk and put it up against that 5-story building where there are no windows. Is that fair to say?
Yes, that's fair to say. I mean, we're a little bit more only for the fact that we have the staircases going up and the elevator and everything else going up. So that we're adding a lot of infrastructure just to do this fourth floor.
But in other words, when Charles, spoiler alert, when Charles comes up to testify about in support of the planning proofs, is it fair to say as an architect that this design, if we would shift this to the as of right configuration and shift that bulk down into that open space up against the property line instead of being about 10.5 feet off of it, it would create architecturally, it would create much more of a massing impact to those neighbors. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I definitely would say that. I mean, I think like this is a much more, especially after extensive talking to the neighbor, this is a much better solution for them because it gives it. They really wanted something on their backyard. It's a little weird because since they're a backyard, and they have like about 10 feet there, we're technically allowed to go to our property line because ours is a side yard that has no neighbor. So, and they're over 10 feet. So in reality, we could go a whole distance in our entire lot, and that massing would wouldn't help. Like this extra spot up on top isn't going to really help. It helps them a lot more than it does doing this slow box out, which kind of then looks weird in the neighborhood where you have the big tall building, then we're cut across here. It just doesn't really lend itself very well when you're cut all the way across here. I personally believe this nice step down is a much more attractive look. And considering when we go further up the street, the buildings are again allowed to be approved at 5 stories, so it kind of steps down and then goes back up on the other side of the street. So I think it just is a nicer building look in terms of the entire building and to the whole neighborhood. This is and I really, really do appreciate the comments about the coloring and everything else. I think this is, spot on, much more attractive building than what we originally proposed.
Yeah.
Thank you. So yeah, so really, Madam Acting Chair, that's all I wanted to elicit from Russ. Nothing else about the building itself and the development have changed, but I think I warned you all when I said it was a massive overhaul. I think that this was really what our intent was, to respond to those comments that we received. So Russ, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Color scheme is very, very nice. I like that. I approve.
Thank you. So with that, I know this board likes to hold its questions to the end of our
Yes.
presentation. So I'll bring back up Charles, and Charles, I'm going to let you take control of the screen as well, but first you're going to need to get sworn in.
Hi, Charles. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this proceeding will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. And if you could state your name?
Yes, Charles Height. Last name is spelled Heydt.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone.
And Charles, your
Mhm.
license is in good standing here this evening.
Professional planner in the state of New Jersey, also a member of the American Institute of Certified Planners as well.
Yes, we've recognized Mr. Height in the past.
Perfect.
Good
So
evening.
thank you, Vinny. So, Charles, you gave extensive testimony last month with respect to the height and density variances, as well as to the single bulk variance for that 2-foot deficiency in the rear yard. You've obviously heard the new testimony from Mr. Bodnar with respect to the changed architecture. What I'd like you to do is give us a little bit of a refresher and walk us through whether you feel as a planner that these changes and these revisions, further promote the goals of the master plan as well as the purposes of the land use law.
Certainly, and again, it's a pleasure to be here tonight. We have worked with the project team to understand the context of this block. It has a mix of different uses, development intensities on the block. It's also a unique set of lots that have rear yards adjacent to side yards, and also a series of 5-story structures as it spans to 2-story structures. So in contemplating all that, what we felt was appropriate for this particular proposed development is a transition. It is trying to transition a side yard to a rear yard, providing a little bit more added space, and it's also transitioning a 5-story structure across down to a 2-story structure at the other corner. So through this property, there's a series of very tailored elements here. I did want to share, for the benefit of the board members and some of the board members that are just joining this application, one of the exhibits we prepared. From a planning standpoint, I think it's important to note that the comparisons that are often made are the existing conditions versus the proposed, which the existing structures were developed at a different point in time. They're really not, in my opinion, in context of what the current zoning is for the property. And essentially, what we tried to understand in an analysis is what the permitted development envelope was for this property as compared to the proposed application. So when we prepared this exhibit, and this was the same exhibit we submitted ahead of last month's meeting, the two comparisons that we used to try and emphasize that the comparison as of right or within the zoning context that's permitted versus what's proposed. And essentially the two major changes or differences are the width of the structure. So we actually have a narrower structure that allows for more separation from our adjacent property on Randolph Avenue, allowing them to have a little bit more of a light and air in their rear yards. And also only the building height. And the building height, as you can see in what Mr. Bodnar mentioned, the building height was only increased on what is the east side of the property that's adjacent to the 5-story structure. So we felt like that this was an important reminder for the board that when you're comparing the massing of what's being proposed, it should be compared to what's permitted in the zone, because ultimately the property owner for these properties, for this property, is looking to improve the lot. That does add value to the overall neighborhood. The aesthetic improvements of the proposed structure will add value. And I do agree that the changes in the aesthetic facade, the colors, the materials, the details are an improvement over the prior proposed elevation. But essentially, as a planning alternative, what we're doing here, which is common, is trying to redistribute the permitted building mass into an area of the proposed structure that has less impact on adjacent users, adjacent uses. So as we zoom in here, kind of gives you a perspective from the proposed structure and the adjacent uses. The 5-story structure, we are proposing a 0 lot line. That structure was constructed to accept and receive an adjacent 0 lot line structure. So there's virtually no impact on proposing the 4-story closer to that adjacent structure. And as we've been mentioning, it does allow for us to create a greater setback along our side yard in excess of what is required to allow for more light and air. So hopefully this is just another reminder in a summary fashion of some of the important planning aspects that we felt was being incorporated in this proposal. And again, part of these changes, while they are a benefit to the proposed design, they also help mitigate the impacts that we are requesting relief under. So specifically with request to height, we're actually reducing the impacts of the building height that could be closer to the shared lot line on the neighbors to the west on Randolph Avenue. So again, that goes to the negative criteria in terms of trying to reduce any impacts to the general welfare and create more light in the air within this area of the property. That's all I had on a summary presentation for tonight.
Thank you, Charles. I have just a couple of follow-ups, actually. If you could just bring that right back up for a second.
Sorry
I
about
was going to
that.
ask you 2 follow-ups on that. So I just want to confirm again, in the as of right scheme, this would be a conforming density. We'd be providing the same 10% affordable housing units on the property. And it would be your opinion as a planner that would actually be a more intensive or intrusive result to the residential neighbors. Is that fair to say?
Yes, because this is technically a side lot line for the subject property, you're allowed to have the as of right width that's being shown here, which brings the building mass closer to the rear building lines for the adjacent properties.
And that would also create additional coverage on the lot as well, correct? Correct.
It's a shorter, squatter building with the bigger footprint.
Okay, and then lastly, is that not in essence the test when we're especially before a zoning board, seeking relief, that what we can propose is ultimately a better planning alternative than what would not require relief?
I think it is. The specific relief that we need are actually part of the mitigation strategy to address the negative criteria. So we're adding height while reducing the impact to the adjacent property owners, which is part of the criteria.
Okay. Thank you. So, Madam Acting Chair, that's all I have for Mr. Height.
Do you have any other additional speakers?
I don't.
Okay, fine. Are there any members of the public who wish to speak on this matter?
Please utilize the raise hand function located at the bottom of your screen if you are a member of the public interested in speaking.
Okay.
The board secretary will promote you one at a time to testify.
All right, I see Mary. I'm gonna promote you right now, and all right, I'm promoting you right now, and you should be able to unmute once you're promoted. Mary, can you hear us?
Yes.
All right, go ahead. You have 3 minutes.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. When I
Could you
Okay,
state,
Vin.
we got to swear you
sorry.
in.
okay, it's fine.
Go ahead, Vin.
Do we need to see the
Mary,
You can.
Mary, do you have a video, Mary?
yeah.
Oh, there we go. Okay, would you raise your right hand to be sworn? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this proceeding will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes,
Thank you. And if you could state and spell your name for the record and provide your address.
Mary Webb, 255 Pacific Avenue, Jersey City.
Thank you.
Okay. I received a letter, a certified letter that something was going to be developed in the neighborhood. And I came to the meeting and told that it was a 5-story building. I later learned that it would be requested, that it was not a given that it would could be a 5-story building. That was my first problem. My concern is that this building will turn my backyard into a grass alley. I have since learned that there is a critical issue for more housing in Jersey City. Therefore, there is a lot of development. The building on the corner of Communipaw and Garfield, which is now housing, has always been commercial property dating back to the 1950s. My concern is homeowners like myself who invested in the neighborhoods are being ignored and with codes and laws that are not consistent with keeping a neighborhood feel. I looked at the renderings of the buildings that he showed, which look nice, but
Yeah.
it's not a home. It's an apartment building, and y- you feel as though that you're no longer in a neighborhood and you're part of a city atmosphere, and that's not where you purchased your home. And it just there seems to be no end to it. That every single lot in Jersey City is now being developed in the name of there's a critical shortage for housing. But building 13 units and putting a 10% affordable doesn't really solve a problem, but it does take away from those people who live in those homes who have families and who invested in as to bring in 13 units in that area. And I was invited to a community meeting last night and told that they want to put 17 stories on just around the corner on Garfield and Communipaw Avenue, where it used to be a commercial spot. But the whole area had homes. That doesn't make a neighborhood. That makes us more of a city. That I purchased my home in the city. People are living in a not a residential neighborhood, but a commercial neighborhood. And no one speaks this, the city council, the city planning. I'm trying to
Mary, you have
understand
30
who,
seconds.
okay, I'm trying to think who speaks for the people. It's nice that he wanted to push back. When I came there, it was all backyards. Now, a tall building replacing two one-family homes with 13 units, and there's no one willing to listen. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary.
Thank you, Mary.
Okay.
Joe, are you I see a hand up?
Yes, I see Michelle Mayer. I am promoting you to panelist now. All right, Michelle, you've been promoted. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, should be
You
sworn in.
raise your right hand to be sworn. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this proceeding will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
And state and spell your name and your address.
My name is Michelle Meyer, with two L's on the Michelle, and then Meyer is Mayer. And my address is 363 Randolph Avenue, across the street. I just wanted to add that Mary Webb also owns one of the buildings that is adjacent to this property. So she's speaking from having a building right next to it. And I get that as of right is less ideal than what is being proposed as far as light and air. And I think, yeah, the material point of the neighbors who are upset about this is that it is drastically changing their neighborhood. And I understand that affordable housing is very much needed in the city. I don't think that, adding one unit to a development and then being able to basically shove as many units into that development as you possibly can at luxury rental costs is really the solution, but it is what the city has decided to do. So it is what it is. But I just wanted to make sure that everyone understood that Mary is directly impacted by this. She owns one of the buildings that's right adjacent to this property. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. Anyone else?
We get a commissioner to move to close public if seeing there's no other members of the public.
Yes, let's move to close the public if there's no one else.
Mhm.
We need a motion from a commissioner.
I'll make a motion to close public hearing.
Second.
Roll call.
Yes. Commissioner Burns,
Yes.
Commissioner D'Angelo,
Yes.
Commissioner Patel,
Yes.
Commissioner Chaplicki,
Yes.
Commissioner Coviello.
Yes.
Sorry, 1, 2, 3.
Alan.
Commissioner Allen,
Commissioner Allen?
Yes.
and then Acting Chair Arujo.
Yes. Okay. All right.
Motion carries.
All right.
So may we hear from the commissioners? Do the commissioners have any questions? I'm sorry. May we hear from the staff?
Certainly. I guess my one reservation is given that the board isn't taking a vote today, it might be best. I presume Mr. Wine's probably going to have a closing statement the next meeting, after which you can get staff. It's the board's discretion whether they want some insight from me now or they want to wait until to have the staff testimony right in front of them when they take the vote at the next meeting.
So it might make for a better package to have, Matt, your staff report and Ben's closing at the next meeting.
Okay.
And then we'll make sure that, who's ever attending has read both transcripts, just in case they haven't been at both hearings. That
Mhm.
makes sense, Ben?
That does. And I guess my only thing is, so first, Vinny, do you have the transcript from the last meeting now? Did you?
I do. I have it in my hand. I have it here.
Okay, so everybody does have a so okay.
Everybody has that.
Yeah,
And
it was
they'll
sent
have
out.
this.
It was sent out. Joseph sent
Yes.
everything.
Okay, so then the only thing I would ask, I agree, I'm happy to have Mr. De Silva hold off, but if there's anything that the board has in terms of comments or questions or feedback that we can answer in my closing at the next meeting, I'm open to hearing that now.
Any comments from the commissioners? No, I don't have a comment.
Okay.
Okay,
So we'll just leave it at closing arguments or the staff report and then your closing, Ben, correct?
Perfect. So yeah, Vinny, if you want to make the announcement to adjourn with preservation of notice, that would be appreciated.
That's what we'll do. I'm sorry, Joe, when is the August meeting?
The August meeting will be on August 6th.
August 6th. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, we're going to carry this with a preservation of notice till August 6th, at which time we're going to hear from staff, and at which time we'll hear the closing comments from the applicant's attorney, Mr. Wine.
Thank you. And just to
Great.
confirm, it will be on Zoom as well. Is that correct?
That's
I
correct.
think we're going to Zoom until September, if not beyond September.
yeah.
Perfect. All right. Well,
Yes.
thank you everybody for
Okay,
hearing
great.
us this evening, and I appreciate the heads up, and I look forward to hopefully bringing this to conclusion next month.
Thank you.
Okay,
Take
good.
care.
Take care.
Bye-bye. Okay, so our next case is 020250094 201 New York Avenue. Is that correct?
That's
Good.
correct.
Okay.
So, Acting Chair Sonia Arroyo, just for the record, this is
Mhm.
an amendment to the an approval that we've given some time ago
I remember.
And what
Okay.
happened with our approval is what happened with our approval is that one of the objectors appealed. And she appealed it to the Superior Court. The Superior Court upheld our decision, and the objector took that decision and appealed it to the Appellate Division. Now, it was pending in the Appellate Division. That's why this case has been carried, because when the case was on appeal and then on appeal to the Appellate Division, we really didn't have any jurisdiction.
Yeah.
But the other day, I shouldn't say the other day, some time ago, the appeal was dismissed. The appeal was dismissed for a deficiency. And as we're sitting here now, it remains dismissed. However, today, the objector filed a motion in the Appellate Division to reinstate the case. However, that doesn't mean the case is reinstated. That means the case is still dismissed.
Dismissed.
So the question becomes, can we still do we have jurisdiction? And the answer to that is yes.
Okay.
We have jurisdiction, and I'm not seeing a reason why to carry this anymore. It really just hurts the developer. It hurts one of the parties for no reason. The objector had time to appeal. She appealed, but didn't appeal in a correct fashion. So as of now, the appeal is dismissed. So I think we should go forward with Mr. Harrington's case tonight. And
Okay.
in that regard, Mr. Harrington did notice for this case. We do have the notices. I have reviewed them. There is an affidavit, proof of service, notice of publication. So as far as I can see, we have notice, we have jurisdiction. So, Mr. Harrington, do you want to proceed? You're on mute.
Yes, yeah, no, I finally clicked it correctly.
Mr. LaPaglia,
Yes.
does it make sense to promote and swear in opposition counsel as well?
Yeah, is Ann Stud
Yeah,
home
yes,
here? Yes.
she's
here, you
raised
might
her
as well
hand.
present it, yeah.
I'm promoting
Yeah,
her now.
She we did have some correspondence this afternoon. She wants to adjourn this. I don't see how we could do that to the applicant this much. There's no saying that the appellate division is going to accept her motion. Let's assume we hear this case tonight. Let's assume the worst that happens to Ms. Stoneholm's case is that you approve this amendment, and then she'll just appeal that amendment and combine it with the other appeal. There's no sense in carrying this over and over and over, because I really don't know if the appeal is going to be accepted. I'm sure Mr. Harrington's client is going to object to reinstating that appeal, but I can't predict the future. I would prefer to deal with what we have now, and what we have now is jurisdiction to hear this case, because the objector's case has been dismissed in the appellate division.
Okay.
I think it's the easiest way to say it. So
Okay.
you have promoted Ms. Studholm because she has her hand raised.
Yeah, she's
okay.
promoted as she just has to unmute.
Okay.
And can you hear us? Could you mute unmute your mic?
And you have to unmute yourself.
Miss Studholm. Miss Studholm? Yeah.
There you go.
There she is.
And I can put my video on too. Sorry about this.
Yes, please do.
Yes, please.
I'm trying to do this so you can see me. Yeah. Okay. So I have a couple of things to add to what Vin said there.
Yes.
Was filed by the
No, I'm sorry, that's not coming in clearly. I'm getting every other syllable.
Apologies, Ms. Studholm, if you could pause for a second. We're having trouble with your internet connection.
You're breaking up. Is that it's not clear what you're saying? And
every other syllable is
it's not on my end. I've always
Yeah, you're breaking up on my end also. Sorry.
Well, that's not my problem.
Well,
Jesus Christ, you people need to hear what I'm saying. Shall I pull it on my telephone?
I don't know, just try
There
again.
is a phone. There is a phone audio
Gave him the full
option.
song,
I
what
know
a
it was a
bad
rhetorical
speaker.
I'm
question.
Chose not
sorry, I
to.
need one speaker. If you're not coming in clearly, I
Do that.
can't hear you, and I can't record this.
But I'm trying to call. Let's see. Okay. I'm going to try to dial in.
Meeting ID followed by
Hang on. Okay, now I'm going to mute myself.
Okay, I see you. I am.
And are you
You're on mute.
1609
Yeah, okay. I've
651 6211?
there you go. I've allowed her to talk. She should.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Better, yes.
Okay, you can hear me now? Yes, that's me. Okay, good. So there's a little, there's a delay, unfortunately.
Yeah, I can't get this. This is unrecordable.
So there's,
I can't get this. It's unrecordable. So there's Might I suggest we go off the actual record until this is fixed?
I'm sorry, Bridget, I didn't hear what you said. You wanted to,
May I suggest that we go off the actual record, the recording, until
Yes.
this is fixed?
yes, why don't you do that? Let's go off the record. And that gives you the time to figure out what's going on. Can you talk into the phone? Let's see if we can hear you.
Okay.
yes, I'll talk into the phone right now.
Okay, that sounds clear.
Yeah, that's better.
I can hear you guys clearly, and I've never had this nature of a problem, so I don't think it's my setup here.
I think I'm hearing. I think I'm hearing her. Okay, is everyone else?
No, there is a problem. There's
It's
repeating
reverberating.
twice.
Somebody
everything
has a
I
speaker
said.
on
Yeah,
or a phone.
Ms.
It could be anybody.
Studholm, could you make sure when you're not actively speaking that it's on mute, your phone is on mute, so we're not getting the echo of your audio?
Okay, I'll try to do that. Hang on.
Okay. All right, maybe we can start again.
Well, let's
I'm not
have
sure about that.
Ms.
I
Studholm talk first.
Yes,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Start,
Not on the record, but
Start
Right.
home. Would you just say your name, whatever, just so that we can get a clear message. See if we can hear you clearly so that Bridget can record it. Would you please do that? And
it's right there. It's still coming back again. I'm hearing you twice now.
You're asking me to speak, so now I am speaking.
you hear it?
yes.
And now I will mute.
We hear you twice.
I don't know if this will help, but I'm being told by one of my architects that if you keep the phone audio on but turn the PC audio off, that might fix it.
Off other than mute, because she's got the PC on mute.
No, but there's still audio coming out. If she has speakers on, then
Yeah, if she turns the
that'll still come out.
computer, so the phone can compensate for the phone audio coming out, but not for the computer audio coming out. So if she turns off her computer speaker,
Yeah.
and then exclusively listens to the meeting via her phone as well,
Right.
theoretically, we won't have the echo problem.
Okay. Can you try to speak now, Anne? See if it's working.
You know, it's funny. I'm trying to turn the speaker off. It's not letting me turn my speaker on my phone. I've turned the computer down,
I think
It's
I
not
can.
letting me turn my speaker off on the phone.
Yeah, but
You
I
don't
think
need to
we've
turn the
solved
speaker off on
problem.
your phone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think you're good.
Okay,
I think
so
you're. Could you
Yeah,
hear?
Is it good now? Okay, so
Yes.
I can tell you guys a little
Wait,
bit
wait,
more
wait,
of this
wait,
going
wait,
on.
time
I
out, time out,
apologize. I don't have an office
Ann, time
background
out,
here.
Ann,
Hold
time
on.
out,
Yes.
time out. You're not
Everybody
on the
here
record
knows
yet.
I can take one person at a time.
Right. And,
Okay,
and
that's
you can
it.
hear her, Bridget, now?
I think, yeah, I think everything is okay right now.
Okay.
I don't hear a double. All right, so we can go back on the record. If that's okay with Madam Chair.
Yes, please. Go back on the record.
All right, Ann, you were saying when we had this, before we
Okay.
had this problem? Mhm.
Okay, thanks. You can hear me now?
Yes?
We can hear you now. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay, good. Thank you. So the deficiency that the appellate division noted was that the caption was missing a comma in between the caption as the appellate division read it as I typed it and as the court had it below. They issued the notice. I did everything I needed to correct the notice. They held my hand through the whole thing. It was ridiculous. Apparently, however, I filed a motion and affidavit dated May 22nd to reinstate. What I didn't realize, and I guess my helper didn't realize I didn't know, was that the court has set up something to help you now where it auto-generates the motion to reinstate, because this is all completely ministerial. There is no question whatsoever that this will be reinstated. So I had filed all my papers, I filed my affidavit, everybody knew what was going on, the comma had been fixed. A comma had been fixed. But I didn't know they hadn't reinstated it. I actually have another appeal, oddly enough, in Jersey City. And I saw something come in on that one, and I said, hey, I never got anything on my saffron one. So I went to look 2 days ago, knowing that this was coming up on this agenda. It had been kicked off last time, because if you don't have jurisdiction, you can't rule on it. And I saw, oh, it had never been reinstated. So technically at the moment, Vinny is right. You do have jurisdiction tonight. And he's also correct. If you vote to approve this amendment, I will then appeal. The problem is I would have to appeal to the Superior Court. I will need to ask the appellate division whether they would deign to take the appeal up to the appellate division to roll it in with the current appeal that was missing a comma in the caption, which Vinny and Chuck knew perfectly well. They've known that what this problem was. I didn't realize it until 2 days ago. I tried multiple times to reach Chuck, didn't get a return phone call. He's very busy, has plenty of meetings. It wasn't on purpose on his fault. They also both know that as of 3:30 or whenever it was today, I fixed the problem, and tomorrow or Monday, the court will reinstate the appeal. It is ministerial. There's no question it will be reinstated. So if they reinstate it after you vote, Vinny and Chuck and I will have a mare's nest of spaghetti to untangle, but we'll be able to untangle it. But what Vinny said about, who the hell knows? Her appeal is never going to be, that's not true. But the problem is that what we don't want to have to do is go through the Superior Court stage all over again. I am trustful that the appellate division panel that rules on stuff like this will say, no. This amendment is really not material. He's asking, at the moment you approve this ridiculous dining plinth that'll take up 3/4 of the sidewalk, and he's asking for the ability to not do that if he wants to not do it. The reason he wants to not do it is because his city council told him he can't. So you're not really changing anything of substance. I think the appeal will still go on. I'm not trying to delay this for the sake of torturing Mr. Harrington and his client, but they can ask for this amendment anytime. This appeal is going to take probably a year. They always do. Anytime during that or after that, they can ask for this amendment. If eventually they will build this thing. If the city wants to, they'll give them the dining plinth and they'll build that. If the city doesn't want to, continues to stand firm and say no, then they would at that point come before you and say, can we build it without the plinth? And I presume you'd say, sure. I mean, of course you could. It's not a big deal. So you can vote tonight because at the moment, this is in a crack of the jurisdiction. Jurisdiction has bounced back, actually probably to the Superior Court, but we'll just pretend it's bounced back to you. That crack is going to close early next week. And then Vinny and Chuck and I are going to have to figure out what we do with this amended approval, because it will be this amended approval that we really want to appeal, but the Superior Court won't have acted on it. So I was trying to reach out to Vinny and Chuck to avoid this mess, which I partly created by losing the comma all that time ago, and by not, you see the color of my hair, I can't work these stupid computers, and they changed them a little bit to be more helpful in between every time I file an appeal. So that's where we are. It is up to you. You do have jurisdiction tonight. There is no rush. They're not going to be building this thing for a very long time. I would think that whatever you decide to do tonight would be the same that you do later on. I can't imagine that you deny. In fact, if you did deny this, I think Chuck would appeal. He'd say, look, you let me build this enormous freaking building, and now you're saying I can't build my building because I can't take over half the sidewalk? That makes no sense. So he's, it's not a substantive worry. This is a procedural worry that unfortunately everybody was like, oh, okay, it's up on appeal. The board is in jurisdiction. We'll just keep kicking the can. Now all of a sudden, oh, it's on appeal. And if Vinny really thought that I was dropping this extraordinarily expensive and difficult appeal, he should have, with due respect, I would say, Vinny, give me a call and say, Ann, did you intend to drop your appeal? And I would have said, holy fuck, what are you talking about? No. But here we are. So that's what's up to the board. You can vote tonight and give the lawyers a headache that will turn itself out. Or you can say, you know what, come back in August or September or whatever. And I don't know, maybe we can get the appellate division to tell me and Chuck that, yes, we'll let the board have jurisdiction for tonight to vote. I mean, I'm not trying to torment Chuck. It's just a procedural problem that I'm trying not to make worse, that I did make worse by dropping a comma a month ago when I filed the notice of appeal. I think my 3 minutes are up, right, Vinny?
Yes, yeah. Let's have Chuck respond and then we can.
Hey, what do we got?
Right. Hey,
Your turn.
for the record, Charles Harrington of Connell Foley on behalf of the applicant. So, I mean, I respectfully disagree with Ann. I understand that, the word deficiency, it was not just the comma. But that's not an issue before you tonight.
Comma Inc.
Okay,
I'm
sorry, I need one speaker, please. And right now,
he's
Mr.
got
Harrington is talking. I'm sorry, this is not being reported. One speaker. I can't make that any clearer.
You had to
Joe,
turn. You have to let Mr. Harrington.
Now,
Joe, where are you? Can you close Ann's voice when she's not speaking?
Yes.
I don't, because we're not going to be able to get a transcript here.
Yes.
Mr. Harrington is speaking.
She's muted.
When he's finished, if you want to rebut that, Ann, go right ahead, write your notes, but just don't butt in.
All right.
Okay. She's muted now. So, all right, Mr. Harrington, let's go again.
So, yeah, as I was saying, the appeal, Ann filed something the day after it was dismissed on the 21st. We don't know if that was sufficient or not. We didn't hear anything in the last 50 days, almost 2 months. As there's no application to reinstate the appeal. Appeals, quite honestly, on our side of the table is like, or is it, and I'm not casting aspersions at Ann, but maybe her client wanted to further delay it and wait. Maybe they ran out of money and they really abandoned the appeal. I don't know, and it's not my job to ask. But this was carried from May 7th to today's date. The reason May 7th that didn't happen was because they filed an appeal on May 6th after the court ruled in our favor at the end of May on April 23rd. So, we're waiting around and there's nothing happening. So this is always on the calendar. We re-noticed for it because of the Zoom forum. So it's not like it was a surprise here that it's been sitting here. And now there is no appeal pending right now. It's dismissed. So you have jurisdiction to hear it. And the application before you is to amend that to get the option to have that dining area, the permanent dining structure, either put it in or take it out. I don't know why they would object to that in the first place. They're the ones that objected to it on the initial hearing. So again, depending on what the board rules tonight, we both have ability to take it up if we want to. I'm not worried about a headache. I think it helps to move things along. And I would think that the community would want this. So again, I'm not. Yeah, and as far as the appeal, I mean, she has a motion, and it's not your issue, but there's a motion pending. We will oppose that. There's no guarantee that it's going to be reinstated. So I respectfully disagree that this is going to be fixed by tomorrow or early next week. It's the appellate division. I guess I don't know what their process is for hearing motions, but that's up to us. As the attorneys, we're going to go back and forth on that. But for the purposes of tonight, we're asking for an amendment to this project, which we think makes sense. We think it's a great project with the permanent seating and structure, but it's also a great project without it. And this is something that Miss Marione actually had foresight in the transcript in which she spoke to the franchise ordinance, saying, well, if the council does deny it, and they did not deny it, there was an application before the city council in the fall, and because we got feedback that they wanted the new council to maybe hear this, not the existing sitting council. There was also a perception being made that this was a give back to the developer, that they were getting something that no other developer or property would get, which is totally false and misrepresented, because every restaurant, every permitted restaurant use in Jersey City can have a sidewalk cafe. So this is essentially a sidewalk cafe, and the ordinance too, the sidewalk cafe ordinance allows you to have seasonal, and it allows you to have permanent. And then there's criteria that you can have a roof on it, you can have heating, lighting. So this is the only difference, what's approved right now is that we brought it up to a level that's level with the first floor. But we're just basically, when Tanya said, well, if it's denied by the council, I'm going to have to know, because we may have to do that an administrative amendment to just eliminate that from the approval. Well, we're getting ahead of that today. We're just saying, and we filed this back in December just for that reason. Say, fine, then let's have the option now. Let's get ahead of that, so that if it does get denied, or if we choose not, if this is approved, if we choose not to pursue the permanent structure, then that's what you're going to do. And again, it's we have jurisdiction tonight. We want to go forward. We're not worried about any headaches.
Okay. So let's put it this way. Even the objector concedes that we have jurisdiction. We have jurisdiction. There's no reason to delay this. Whatever, I can't imagine that we can't solve legal problems that come out in the future. So let's move forward and go along. So who is your witnesses, Chuck?
So I see Matt Seckler's up here. I'd also ask that you promote Mark Chisvet, Jason Desai, and I know you may as well promote Jose Carballo too, but Jason is going to testify as the architect.
Okay.
Okay, I'm promoting all of them now, Chuck.
Thanks. So I'm going to start with Mr. Chisvet. So he's going to walk the and actually, maybe for the benefit of the board, I think not all members were part of the initial approval. This was approved back in what was it?
While almost all South American countries have.
March of 2025. So it is a hotel, which I can't find. Oh, there it is. A 9-story hotel, 9-story building, 72 hotel rooms. It does have this outdoor dining that was approved as part of it along the Jersey Avenue right of way. So tonight, what we're asking for is the option to remove that, whether on our own accord or in the event the council doesn't approve it. We think it's a great project with it, but we also can accommodate. Again, you're allowed a sidewalk cafe. You're allowed a all year sidewalk cafe that can be out 10 feet out into the right of way. This one is only 8 feet. So that's what we're asking. We're going to show you what we're proposing today, as part of the presentation. I also note that we did work with City Bike Station. They agreed to move the stations in the event we go with the permanent structure. But if it's approved and we go without the permanent structure, then the stations would stay where they are, and any conflicts, any pedestrian circulation conflicts would not be created in either scenario. So with that said, I'm going to move on to Mr. Chisvet.
Is he here?
Yes, he's
here.
Oh, sorry, Mark. You're right in front of me. Did you raise your right hand to be sworn? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this proceeding will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
And could you state and spell your name for the record?
Mark, M-A-R-K, Chisvette, C-H-I-S-V-E-T-T-E.
Thank you.
And for the record, my license is still active and in good standing.
So I'd offer Mr. Chisvet as an expert in civil engineering.
Yes, we've recognized him in the past. Good evening.
Good evening. I would like to share my screen so I can show, what I want to do is show comparison between the previously approved site plan and the plan that we're presenting tonight. I believe you are looking at the wrong screen. Just 1 second. I'm going to stop the share and share again. I think it shared the wrong screen. There we go. All right, that's better. Now you should see the site plan on the screen.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, so on the left is the set of plans that were approved previously, as Mr. Harrington said, in March of 25, and on the right are the plans that we've presented that we are presenting today. What we're looking at right now is the site plan drawing C3 of the. So let me just highlight what is being proposed as far as the site improvements. For now, I'll be referring to the sheet on the left, which is the previously approved plan. There were basically two fundamental aspects of the site plan as far as improvements outside the building. One of them is that we had proposed to widen the sidewalk by bumping out the curb on Newark Avenue and reducing the curb radius at the intersection of Newark Avenue and Jersey Avenue to provide more sidewalk area both on the Newark Avenue frontage and at the corner for pedestrians in this area. We are still proposing that exact same change. We have not changed that at all. The other fundamental, most prominent site plan aspect is our treatment of Maxwell Street. Previously approved plans show that we proposed to raise the pavement to be at curb level along the building frontage. So it ramps up slightly at Jersey Avenue and then ramps back down to meet normal pavement grade just at the back rear property line. So it would be then flush with the sidewalks. We proposed to place some bollards, which are shown here in blue, so that if vehicle comes down the street, there's a separation from the pedestrian pathway and the vehicles for safety for pedestrians. And all of that, that pavement will be stamped concrete to look like a brick or paver pattern. All those improvements that we originally had proposed are still proposed in the current plan. You can see On the right of your screen, we're still showing the treatment at Maxwell Street. We're still showing the bollards. We're still showing the bump out on Newark Avenue and the increased sidewalk area. One thing that we are proposing to change is, as you can see on the left, there was a restaurant deck which would occupy the public right-of-way space. The property line is at the face of the main building, so the deck would have been put within the right-of-way. That has been removed in the plans that we're presenting today. And since we are no longer proposing that raised deck with these plans, there's no need to move the bike station, the city bike station. So as you can see on the right, that city bike station is proposed to remain, whereas previously we were going to relocate that. Otherwise, tree locations, lighting locations, light levels, all those site aspects are exactly the same as the previously approved plan. I could start flipping through pages to show you utility connections and all that. I don't think it's necessary unless you want me to, but none of that is changing at either. All those connections, all of that is exactly the same as previously. So that's basically it. I mean, like I said, there's almost no difference between the two plans except that the deck is no longer part of it, and the bike station that's on Jersey Avenue is to remain, and there will be 11 feet plus or minus a few inches from the closest point of the bike station to the face of the building.
Okay, I mean, I have no further questions for Mr. Chisvet, but I know, Madam Chairwoman, I know you wait till the end for questions, or if I guess if
We'll wait until the end.
If Ms. Studholm has any questions, or would you like to wait till the end?
Yeah, we'll wait until the end.
Okay, then I'll move on with our architect, Jason Desai, who's going to walk us through the architect.
And do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this proceeding will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
And state and spell your full name for the record.
Jason Desai, Jaison Desai.
Thank you.
And Mr. Desai, I believe, was recently licensed in the state of New Jersey. So since he hasn't been accepted as an expert yet before this board, I asked that he give his professional qualifications. Jason?
Yes. So I graduated from NJIT in December of 2022. I've been practicing under a licensed architect full-time since 2023. I recently received my architecture license in the state of New Jersey as of February 2026. I have presented in front of a planning board of the city of South Orange previously, and this will be my first zoning board appearance.
Okay.
Congratulations.
Welcome to the board.
We'll accept his qualifications.
Okay, thank you. All right, Jason, and could you walk us through the, how this changes the architecture look to the extent it does?
Yes, let me share my screen. Okay. So what we are proposing in these submitted sheets, get to the next page. So as you can see on sheet A501, we previously were approved to provide a dining deck addition to the exterior of the building, as can be seen here at the bottom and here on the plan will be on this drawing. And the reason we provided this exterior dining deck was to provide ease of movement between the restaurant itself and the outdoor dining. This allowed better programming for the wait staff to serve the patrons and allow easier access for patrons of the restaurant who would like to sit outside to easily traverse the restaurant and be able to get to this area. The design of the building would essentially carry the same style by just bringing it out that stone facade design by about 8 feet. The windows, we were permitted by the historical board Historic Preservation Committee to expand by dropping the opening down a little bit and creating these nano wall style glass door according door foldable openings to allow more air and light into the space. The original historic railings, as you can see, those were taken down from the existing windows and they would be used as guardrails for this new dining deck. What we are proposing now as a second option is not having that 8-foot addition to the exterior of the building and instead keeping that same facade language where we create the openings and the doorways to allow more air and light into the building and use those railings still at the same level as the restaurant floor to provide that guardrail for the interior occupants. From this elevation looking from Jersey Ave, virtually the design looks very similar, almost the same. When we look at it from Newark Ave, here we can see the exact dimensional change of that dining deck. This is sheet A502, and on the left side we created 2 renderings that depict what that would look like on the exterior. As you can see at the top, this is what was approved previously, where we had that 8-foot addition, and down below is where we would not have that addition, but also still carry the same design elements of the facade pushed back into the right-of-way, into our property. That is what we will be presenting for architecture. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and Madam Chair, we have one more witness then, and I guess we'll wait for questions.
Yes.
Okay, yes.
Okay, so my last witness would be Matthew Seckler.
Good evening.
Would you have your right hand? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this proceeding will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
And state and spell your name for the record.
My name is Matthew Seckler. That's Seckler with Stonefield Engineering Design. Address is 92 Park Avenue in Rutherford, New Jersey.
And Mr. Seckler, during the first or the initial approval, you were qualified as an expert in planning and traffic engineering. Is that correct?
Correct, and my licenses are still in good standing.
Okay, so I'd offer Mr. Seckler in the same capacity for the purposes of tonight.
Yes.
Although we're, I'm sorry.
We'll accept his qualifications. Yes.
So for the purpose of tonight, Mr. Seckler's, the proposed changes, in your professional opinion as a professional planner, do they have any effect or impact on the initial approval that was approved by this board?
No, we're not seeking any additional changes to the variances that we were previously seeking before this board. All of the previous justifications regarding the uniqueness of the property, the positive negative criteria that were addressed and obviously accepted by this board is exactly the same with this new proposal. There's really no measurable change from a planning perspective.
Okay. Thank you. So that's, Madam Chair, that is our presentation. Again, it's to seek the option to go forward with the building without the permanent structure.
Okay.
And again, it's this, as I said earlier, a sidewalk cafe is something that is permitted by the local ordinance. It's section 296-7.1. It permits seasonal and full year sidewalk cafes. So this is not something that is any different from any other restaurant. And the restaurant component here is a permitted use. So it could be there regardless of a variance. So it's not, again, we're not asking for something that's not permitted. We're just asking for the option.
Okay. All right, I'll save my question to the end. Vinny, do we call Ann or we're good? Will we go on to the patrons? I mean, to the public comments?
Since Anne is here, why don't we see if she has any questions for the witnesses?
Okay.
Excuse me, I'll need a break at 7:30. Just keep that in mind, please.
At
Yes,
what
ma'am.
time?
7:30.
Okay.
Okay, and can you unmute on your phone?
And you have
And can
the,
you, yeah, could you unmute on your phone? There you go.
Can
Go
you
ahead,
hear
Ann.
me?
we can hear
Okay.
you now.
I don't have any questions for the witnesses at this point. Thank you very much. I think I do have the chairman of the Saffron HOA board is here. He might have some comments at the end, but I don't think he has any questions either. Just
Okay.
wanted to
Is
make
he
that
part
clear.
of the public? Is he gonna be part of the public?
Yeah, he's part of the
We're
public.
gonna go into
Yes,
a
he
public
is.
portion, so if he is, then he'll have 3 minutes, okay? Like everybody else.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. Thanks.
And I'm sorry, I didn't catch the name and the federation, Ann.
The
It's the sorry.
Saffron
Please
HOA is what it says.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, so Joseph, do we have any
Yes, we have
comments?
the Saffron HOA raising their hand.
Okay,
So I'm gonna promote them to panelists right now.
okay, thank you.
Saffron HOA, could you hear us? Could you unmute?
Can you unmute yourself, please?
Yes. Can you hear me now?
Yes, can
We
you
can
turn
hear
on
you,
your
we
video,
need to
please?
also see you, yeah, so you need to have your video
Sure,
on.
getting there. Sure thing. Hello.
Okay,
Thank
raise your
you.
right hand to be sworn. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this proceeding will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
And if you can state and spell your full name and provide your address?
Absolutely. My full name is Gabby, Gabby. Last name, Feliu, F like Frank, Eliu. And my address is 217 Newark Avenue, Unit 414.
Thank you.
Okay.
So you have
If
3
I can go ahead, I
minutes.
will. Yes. Okay. I just want to reaffirm a couple things that well, first, a little bit about myself. As our attorney stated, I'm the president of the Saffron HOA, who are the objectors to this egregious proposal. Secondly, I'm also on the board of one of the neighborhood associations directly being impacted by this, which is the Harson's Cove Association. And I know there's some new members of the board, and I don't know if they ever had a chance to look back at any of the transcripts or videos. I imagine they wouldn't, but I wanted them to understand the color of this proposal for this structure that has egregious variances both for height and use. And there was a 5-day hearing session in front of the zoning board. And at that hearing session, there was a unanimous opposition, not only from the most impacted owners at the Saffron, but also that of all of the neighborhood associations in downtown. That's Paulus Hoek, Van Voorst, The Village, Van Voorst, Paulus Hoek, The Village, Hamilton Park, and Harson's Cove. And they came out and they all spoke on the record against this project. And I just wanted to reinstate that repeat that for those who may not have been part of that of those meetings, and that the opposition to this is loud and full steam ahead in case there was any doubt. Thank you.
Thank you. Joseph, anybody else?
None currently.
Okay,
Madam Acting Chair.
thank you for your comments.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Okay,
Can somebody move to close the public?
Motion on the floor to close the public section of the testimony.
okay, can I have a
Okay.
second?
All in favor? Aye.
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 Okay, so let's give Bridget a break. And what time do you want to come back? In 10 minutes, Bridge?
Can we finish this? We still have 5 minutes. I said, can we just vote on this so we can finish it?
I don't think
Or you
So
don't
I'm
think we're
covering
gonna finish this?
I'm covering for Tanya tonight for staff comments. If
I don't want
Why
to
don't
rush
we just take the
anybody.
10 minutes now?
Yes, let's
You
just
want to
take 10
take
minutes.
it now?
Yes.
Bridget, okay, all right. So we have a recess for 10 minutes, okay? We'll be back in 7:36.
Okay.
Okay,
Great.
all right.
Bye. Thanks.
All right, so what did I miss?
Nothing. I believe we're still waiting on Commissioner Saplicki.
I see, okay.
I will take the moment to share my screen while we wait for the commissioner, though, because it will assist with my testimony. Like Commissioner Saplicki is back. Commissioner Patel, are you there?
Yes.
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Okay, great.
Okay, so
So Bridget, are we on the record?
Yes.
Great.
okay. So we were going to hear from Anne, or is Anne?
Matt,
I'm
from
sorry.
our staff.
The staff, okay.
Yes.
So, Mr. De Silva?
Yes, I'm covering for Tanya today.
Okay.
Yeah, certainly. So Tanya did write a memo for this, dated July 9th. I'm sharing with you. So what you have in front of you is an amendment to an existing case. That amendment does not create any new variances. However, when you have an amendment to a case where variances have been granted, the board obviously has to consider, oh, do the changes to the project impact sort of the calculus under which those initial variances were granted. Additionally, obviously, just to make sure the board is clear, a vote to approve this amendment obviously means the amended version of the project can go ahead. A vote to reject this amendment does not mean the project can't go ahead. It means the project can go ahead just in the version without the amended features. So what's not up for debate tonight is whether or not this hotel can be built. It's whether or not the proposed hotel can be amended to remove the proposed restaurant deck and bring Maxwell Street to grade. I just wanted to bring up the report because it has an excellent close-up view on the this is the old proposal, not the new proposal. As you see under as of the previously approved condition would have created a choke point on the sidewalk, something that was far from an ideal condition, with only 5 feet minimum width on what's a very busy pedestrian area. This is the corner of Newark and Jersey. It's at the head of the pedestrian plaza. You're close to the path. This is the heart of Jersey City's nightlife, restaurant scene, etc. And so the as approved condition did have, negative impact on pedestrian flow, but the applicant and planning staff is certainly gracious for this is coming forward and proposing to ameliorate this condition by removing that restaurant deck. It's staff opinion that removing the proposed deck not only doesn't negatively impact the zone plan or the proposal, but actually positively impacts the proposal. This makes the impacts of the proposal less intense and makes for a better project. And so with that, staff is recommending approval just with the one condition in addition to the existing conditions from the previous approval, that updated plans without the deck that show the rehabilitation and preservation of the existing facade must be approved by the historic preservation officer prior to issuance of permits. This building is not a designated landmark. It's not in a historic district, but it is a building with historic value. And because of that, we want to, make sure that the staff preservationists have an opportunity to make sure that the condition is compatible with the adequate rehabilitation and preservation and adaptive reuse of the structure. And I'm open to questions from the board if necessary.
And just for the record, Matt, that condition would be acceptable. I also, Mr. Chisvet just texted me, because that's how we have to communicate on these Zooms, that he said the amended plan does not alter or plan to raise Maxwell Street. I just wanted to clarify that. I don't know if what you said was in conflict with that. If you want to.
I may have misunderstood Mr. Chivette's testimony. So the change is the stamped. It's not changing. Maxwell Street is not being regraded. It's just the stamping that's being added.
Is that correct, Mark? You're muted.
No, that isn't correct. We are proposing to do the exact same thing to Maxwell Street as originally. We're going to raise the pavement and use the stamped. None of that's changing. The only thing that changes is elimination of the deck.
Got it.
Okay, great. I might have been just confused by some testimony. So there's even a smaller scope of potential impacts to weigh here. It's just about does removing that deck make this a better project from the perspective of advancing the goals of the master plan and the zone plan or not. And it's staff opinion that it does.
Okay. Okay, so
does the commissioners have any questions?
Yeah, I have one. Hi, it's Commissioner Zablicki. Do you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So just for clarification, this seems as if, I guess this is for staff, this seems as if that the original plan that was proposed was, for lack of a better word, more grandiose than this current outside deck. Obviously, it seems as if to me as it's a step down in terms of what was originally approved by all of us last time. Is that correct?
Yes, it's a marginally less intense proposal because it's proposing a conventional sidewalk treatment that does not require a franchise to encroach in the public right of way.
Okay, so I just wanted to clarify that because that would seem to me as if we voted for it in the past at one level and you voted yes for it, there would be no reason not to vote yes for this, being that it's a has a lesser impact as you suggested. So gotcha.
Yeah, I would say that's accurate. Obviously, there's always, you can make arguments, but I think the key thing is, this isn't. They're
respect
not
to the
increasing
outside.
the size of the building or the scope.
With respect to the outside, I'm talking about. Yes, of course.
Correct.
Yep. Okay.
Madam Chair, you're muted.
Thank you. Okay, so what you're really proposing to do, which is you're gonna eliminate that, the outside restaurant seating, which is great. I think that's great. However, what are you gonna do with Maxwell? I know you said you're gonna, lift up the sidewalk, the road. What exactly are you gonna do on that side, that alleyway that leads out into Cole Street?
We're not changing what was approved. I mean,
Okay, so can you remind
Yeah.
me what was approved? I know the gentleman here said is familiar with that, Mr. Chasbit.
Yeah,
What was
Mark,
it?
You want me to take that? Sure. So the proposal is to raise the pavement of the street to the same elevation as the top of curb. So basically, it's going up 6 inches. So at the intersection of Jersey Avenue, where you're turning into Maxwell Street, you will go up slightly 6 inches, ramp up in effect, and then you will be at sidewalk level until you get to the back of the property, and it ramps back down and meets existing pavement grade just at the property line. So because it is a narrow street and it provides a little bit more width when there are no vehicles, it provides a little more movement for pedestrians to kind of share the road. But we also are proposing bollards so that if a vehicle does come down the road, that pedestrians have a place that keeps them secure. So because now they don't have the curb for protection, so they would have the bollards for protection and to keep the vehicles from wandering into what would be the pedestrian walkway.
So you're technically closing off that section on
We're
Jersey Avenue?
not getting
And-
closed off. It'll still be open for traffic.
Oh, it'd still be open for traffic?
Yes, it'll always be open for
Is it gonna
traffic.
be like a ramp or something? Because if you're
Yes.
gonna have it 6 feet where it's gonna be the same size as the sidewalk, how are they
Yes,
gonna?
it would be a slight,
One
like,
speaker. Go ahead, Madam Chair.
How are the vehicles able to go to get up from the hump and then to go into the parking space on Maxwell?
it ramps up like a driveway apron would at the intersection of Jersey Avenue, and then ramps back down at the other end. So it would be
It's just gonna be a ramp.
comparable to going into a parking garage or something like that.
Okay. And then also my other question was, why do you intend to expand on Jersey Avenue? Why do you want to increase that? And I know we had approved the last time. I'm just kind of curious. What is it gonna, what's happening? I mean, because I know that whole block on Jersey Avenue is pretty wide. I'm just wondering, are you making it wider?
We're making the pavement narrower so that we can make the sidewalk wider, because we're anticipating with the hotel on that site, there would be more pedestrian activity. And there's actually a recommendation from from the staff of within the city traffic division to do that. So we did two things. We widened the curb along North Avenue, near the intersection of Jersey Avenue, so that you have now about 21.5 feet of sidewalk instead of, it would have been 8 feet less. And it also adds a lot more area for people standing around at the handicap ramps where if they wait to try to cross the crosswalks. It also reduces the length of the crosswalk along North Avenue, which makes it a little more safe for pedestrians crossing North Avenue. So it's all for the safety and enhancements and movement of pedestrian enhancements.
But it's also for the hotel to be able to put the dining on the sidewalk.
Yeah,
That
but
would make it more feasible.
a little bit it would, because we actually set that. If you look at the plans that were originally proposed, the proposed deck was set back a ways from the corner of the building. So it's not so much for the use of seating as much as it is for just the general activity at the intersection, because we're not bringing the curb out along Jersey Avenue, only along North Avenue.
Yeah, so the expansion there, Mark, is really at the corner of Jersey and North.
Yeah. If you want, I can reshare it. You can look at it again if you want me to do that.
It's okay, it's okay. I'm just wondering how the
Yeah.
buses, because I know, I live there. I mean, I grew up in that. So I'm just wondering how the buses are gonna come in and come from Newark Avenue, because I know they come up Newark Avenue and then turn on Jersey Avenue to keep going down towards Grant Street. Not Grant Street, what is that? Yeah, Grant Street, Christopher Columbus.
Right.
So, yeah, so I'm just wondering, that's gonna be a big gap. And then you also have the buses from Jersey Avenue coming the other way and stopping over at the chicken place right there on right in front of the hotel. And then going up Newark Avenue. So that's gonna really make it a small gap between those two buses coming and going. Do you know what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying. We did look at turn templates for buses and other large vehicles to make sure that they could maneuver that turn without encroaching into the opposite lane. And actually, there was a circulation plan that was part of the original set of plans to show that. As far as buses on Jersey Avenue going in the other direction, it wouldn't really have any impact. It does have an impact on the buses coming down Newark Avenue towards Jersey Ave because the bus stop now is out of the travel way, and with this change, they would be basically stopped in the travel lane. But like I said, this was a proposal that was suggested to us by the city traffic department. So we looked at how much of a radius change we can make without impacting the turns, and this is where we are now.
Okay, all right, that's all I have.
Yeah, and
Thank you so much.
Mr. Trevette, all traffic coming eastward on Newark has to turn anyway because Newark beyond Jersey Avenue is pedestrianized now, right? So
that's correct.
So
Yeah.
whether vehicles are stopping to turn or buses are stopping to take on passengers, there's no free flow of traffic that's being impaired when the bus stops in the travel lane. Is I guess what I'm getting at.
Obviously, they all have to turn. Yeah.
Yeah. So everyone's stopping for clearance for their turn anyway.
That's true.
Yeah.
Nothing further, correct, Mr. Harrington?
Nothing further, no.
Sonia, you're on mute.
I'm trying to mute the sound from my dog. That's in the cage. I'm sorry. So can I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair, Madam Acting Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve KZ Bridget. KZ 20225-094 is presented to the board this evening.
Okay. Can I have a second? Can I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay.
Roll call.
Commissioner Allen,
Yes.
Commissioner Coviello,
Yes.
Commissioner Chaplicki.
Yeah, I want to say yes, and just with one thing. This, as of right now, just so, as it's been said in our hearing tonight, we have the status and the ability to vote on this today. We're on a time frame that's basically official and supported by our courts. It bothered me a little bit that someone would just assume that the courts would make a different decision later on as a guarantee, but just to make it clear, we are on good status with this and moving forward properly. So yes, I vote yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Patel,
Yes.
Commissioner D'Angelo,
Yes.
Commissioner Burns,
Yes.
and Acting Chair Arujo.
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And now we're switching court reporters.
Yep. Hello. Thank you all for having me.
Okay. Bye, Bridget. Okay.
Good
Okay,
night.
so the next case is Z 2025-0067. It's 238 Newark Avenue, and the attorney is Stephen Joseph.
Yes, I am elevating him to panelist now.
All right, there we go. Stephen Joseph Castano Quigley Trami for the applicant. We do have two witnesses this evening. I see they're raising their hands, Charles Height and William Weckenman. This is a notice application, so I would ask that we receive notices and we can enter them to
Yes,
evidence.
Yes, you can enter them. We have reviewed them, your affidavit, your notice of publication, and we'll mark them however we mark them nowadays.
A1, I guess, maybe?
Yes, yeah.
Sure. Okay, great.
I meant physically how we were doing it.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I have a pile of them in the office now, so I don't know. Do it.
So we'll go to your office.
Yeah. All right. So 238 New York Avenue. This property is located on the corner of New York Ave and Griffith Street. It's currently improved with a 3-story building. There's ground floor commercial space, and there are residential dwellings above the ground floor. The building was deemed historically significant by the Historic Preservation Commission. That's the nature of this whole application. So this is a subdivision with the purpose of isolating the historic building and allowing the development of the empty space next to the historic building. We're here with a subdivision because the commercial space on the ground floor is an existing non-conforming condition. And by cutting the lot in half, we are intensifying the use, technically expanding the non-conforming use, which creates a D variance that brings us here to this board, the zoning board. In addition to the subdivision and the D variance, there are a couple of C variances. We have lot area for both lots, rear yard setback, and the lot coverage, all related to the nature of the existing size of the lot and us keeping the existing building. Because we're forming 2 new lots, even though the building is existing, it does create those variances for the setback and the coverage. So what you're being asked to approve this evening is it's a subdivision of a 2,076 square foot lot into 2 new lots. One of those lots is 1,082 square feet, and the other one is 994 square feet. We do have Will here this evening. We'll get him sworn in, and he will quickly go over what the plan is for the project. And because there's a D variance involved, we do have Mr. Height here to offer some planning testimony. So let's get Will sworn in.
Will, swear in. You swear any testimony you give tonight is going to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
And for the record, can you spell your name?
Sure. It's William Weckenman. Last name spelled Weckenmann.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we know that Will's license is in good standing, and we recognize his expertise.
Yes, thank you, Vinny.
Right.
Okay, so tonight I will be playing surveyor instead of architect for a change. So as Stephen mentioned, it's a pretty straightforward subdivision. I'll just quickly walk you through the existing site plan. New York Avenue is here on the left. Griffith Street is towards the bottom of the screen. There's an existing 3-story building on the corner, which is indicated by this dark line here. The building has a series of improvements on the back portion of the lot. It's currently used for parking, and it's completely paved, but there is a 1-story frame garage in the back corner, as well as a canopy and a few other minor improvements. This is a photograph of the site. This is up on the portal. So you can see the area that we're proposing the subdivision is the area back here that is currently used as surface parking. The proposed lot line will basically follow the profile of the existing masonry building, and will be a total total square footage of 994 square feet. There are a few other miscellaneous improvements that we're proposing, aside from removing these two structures and removing all of the impervious coverage. And I'll just go back to the photo real quick. This chimney will be removed and relocated within the building. And these two windows, which open up to a stairwell, will be closed. And then these vents and miscellaneous pieces of equipment on the side of the building will also be removed as part of the subdivision work. We're not proposing a new building at this time. This is just the subdivision. So that concludes my direct testimony.
Great. Thank you, Will. If there's any questions about the nature of the subdivision, I think that was pretty thorough, but if anyone wants some more detail, it's happy to provide that.
We usually hold our questions till the end, so you have another witness,
Understood.
Stephen?
Yeah. So let's get Charles sworn in, and he could provide some planning testimony.
And Charles, I think I heard you speaking before.
I did appear earlier tonight.
All right. Well, good evening. Nice to see you. And if you could just confirm that you remain under oath from earlier.
Acknowledged I remain under oath.
Thank you.
And we've already recognized you as an expert, so go right ahead, Charles.
Good evening, board members, again for the second time tonight. I am involved with this application. We did work with the property owner and Mr. Weckerman on understanding what the subdivision and how it would impact the existing homes and the adjacent lots. So we are requesting a D2 expansion of a non-conforming use as well as associated bulk variances. I'll directly jump into the proofs here because I think it's a straightforward application. The D2 expansion of a non-conforming use results as an existing non-conforming mixed-use building that is being reduced in lot size. And in planning, that rationale means that the reduction in lot size creates a scenario where the existing nonconformity is exacerbated. However, I think we are taking certain measures to mitigate any potential impacts of the subdivision. As Mr. Weckerman just mentioned, a close look at the proposed changes on the existing structure in terms of all the equipment and venting that is on that proposed shared lot line. I'll also walk through a couple of the impacts that are proposed and how we believe will actually benefit the adjacent lots in the rear yard area. But essentially, mixed uses are permitted in the R1 district. As the requirements go, the ground floor commercial use is permitted if it existed in a historic tax photo. During the course of our review, when we did some research, we were able to document the existing of the ground floor commercial back as to 1938. However, the specific reading in the zoning ordinance requires it to be present at 1930. So just shy 8 years for it to be considered a permitted use. Therefore, it's a non-permitted use, pre-existing the current code that regulates it. So it's the existing mixed use, the ground floor use has existed for up just shy of 90 years. It's been a constant use, a constant commercial use on the subject property. And like I said, there are certain proposed changes to the existing structure that will allow for any future development on the proposed vacant portion of this overall property. With respect to the associated bulk requirements, they're all related to the existing structure. At this point in time, there's no proposed structure on the vacant portion, which would be subdivided. There are changes on the proposed lot, the proposed interior lot, 13.02. A portion of the existing structure is actually to be removed. So that would be portions of the one-story section that spans the current lot today. So that will actually bring the overall area into a little bit of conformity by adding some open space in the rear yard or interior of this lot. With respect to the bulk requirements, the minimum in the R2, as this board has heard me discuss many times over, is 2,500 square feet. What's being proposed is 1,082 square feet on lot 3201 and 994 square feet on lot 3202. These are smaller than that standard minimum for the R1. However, based on some of our other research in understanding the lot patterns in this section of the Heights, there are several other properties specifically at this intersection of New York and Griffith that are actually smaller than that standard. This is all relatively understandable because of the historic nature of this portion of the Heights. There are smaller lots that existed in the early part of the 1900s, and we're actually proposing a subdivision that's consistent with that historic pattern. So just to reference a few within the area, lot 31 is at about 1,000 square feet. Lot 30 is just over at 1,040 square feet. Lot 29 is at 1,083 square feet. So again, there's a pocket of smaller lots that are that we would actually be consistent with within this specific neighborhood. The rear yard being requested is actually, in my opinion, two parts. We do need specific relief for the corner, the proposed lot at the corner. The existing structure will occupy the full extent of the lot. So as it goes, the rear corner, corner property requires an interior corner point setback from the rear. And because the existing structure occupies that space, it's technically proposed with the subdivision at 0 feet. We did prepare an exhibit or a diagram associated with our principal point statement that I wanted to share. And this provides a little bit of context and analysis as to how, in context, while we're requesting relief for the proposed lot, we're actually creating more rear yard open space than what currently exists. So as I mentioned earlier, and you can see on the survey, the one-story structure that's being removed exists in this space. That's shown in green and blue. It's actually a little bit greater than that area. But in terms of required rear yards, the proposed subdivision requires this space in red, and that's about 67 square feet. So this is the relief in terms of the rear yard setback requirement from the rear yard point. However, because we are proposing a subdivision and we are removing the one-story structure on this portion of the overall lot, we're actually creating the ability to create a true rear yard area that's greater than what's shown in green and would span the whole width of proposed lot 32.02. So we're actually creating a rear yard area that doesn't exist today and is greater than what would be required for the overall property. Hopefully this diagram shows that in terms of what would be required on the overall lot, what's being proposed in terms of the green and the blue, and then the variance that we're specifically requesting with this application.
And this was attached to the principal point statement that's on the portal, so we do not need to enter this into evidence, just for the record.
That's correct. So just by the numbers again, what's required for the rear yard setback in terms of square feet with lot 32.01 is 67.6 square feet. What's required for the overall lot would have been 129.7 square feet. And what we're realizing with the removal of the one-story portion and concept plans for a proposed structure on lot 3202 that we would be able to realize a total rear yard area of 233.5 square feet. Okay. The last bulk variance that I would want to reference is with respect to lot coverage. This is again associated with lot 3201, with striking the new subdivision line where we propose it. The existing structure would then occupy 100% of proposed lot 32.01, which is the corner lot, and the maximum permitted in the district. Let me double back to my notes. Give me 1 minute. The screen's. The maximum permitted lot coverage is 85 square feet, 85%, sorry. So we are increasing the overall coverage on the lot, but given that that existing structure exists today, there won't be any physical impacts or changes. Any new structure that would be proposed on lot 32 would actually come by way of an improvement, and there would be a stormwater system that would be able to collect water from the roof into leaders, and then reduce the amount of sheet flow from the subject property onto adjacent lots. So there's a little bit of an improvement there with the roof and drainage system on lot 32.02. Part of the positive criteria that I would offer for this application would be a provision of adequate light, air, and open space. I really do believe that the improvements in the interior of these two lots, creating a greater amount of rear yard space, is an overall improvement to the subject properties as well as the adjacent lots. So I do think it actually increases the amount of light and air that will be able to enter into the interior and the other rear yards on the adjacent lots. I do also believe that there is the promotion of Purpose I to create a desirable visual environment. It's a subdivision in effort to provide for the opportunity of a infill residential development on the interior proposed lot, and I do think that that advances in aesthetic improvement above and beyond the surface parking and the one-story portion of the existing structure. With respect to the negative criteria, I don't believe there's any substantial detriment to the general welfare. We closely reviewed the layouts of the existing floor plans. We identified areas that would need to, aspects of the building that would need to be relocated in terms of venting with the commercial structure, as well as any venting with the residential units. We also identified that some of the lot line windows are actually servicing stairwells, which are not a required component to building code requirements, and they can be removed. We did produce concept plans that do show a compliant development on the subject property in terms of both zoning code and building code, and that is usually a good measure, as if the proposed lot can accommodate an infill development. That's part of the application. And with respect to the zoning plan and zoning ordinance, I don't believe there's any substantial impairment to the master plan. We are in a residential residential zone. We're in a residential neighborhood. The existing mixed-use structure essentially will remain the same in terms of the 3-story portion of it, and that would, in my opinion, actually advance goals and objectives, specifically continued efforts to enhance residential neighborhoods. I mentioned it earlier, removing the surface parking, removing the 1-story garage structure, and allowing for an infill residential development would be appropriate. I also believe that it would ensure the city's housing is balanced and meets the needs of all current and future city residents. there's a lot of discussion on the income levels of housing, but it also is the size of housing. A lot of dwelling units that are more expensive tend to be larger, and dwelling units on these properties that are smaller will be smaller. So from a market standpoint, these smaller units will meet a certain demographic and in the housing profile that is underserved today. So I do believe it's helping balance the supply of housing in the city. That's my direct testimony. Hopefully, I walk through everything and be happy to answer any questions that the board might have.
Madam Chair, I think you're on mute.
Do the commissioners have any questions? Okay, may I have the staff?
Certainly. I guess before I
Did
go
we
into
ask for
comments.
public, by the way?
Oh, we have not.
No, we did not. I apologize. Okay,
That's
so
okay.
forget that. Let's do, do we have any public comments?
We don't have anyone raising their hand at the moment, Madam.
Okay,
Great,
All
so
right.
let's have a motion to close the public, so we clear that up.
thank you.
Make 'em-
Yes. Motion to clear, to the clear the public. Motion to, oh my God, I can't speak today. You're gonna have to excuse me. All right, motion to close public comments. I motion. I need a second.
Yes, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Now,
All
staff.
right.
Okay.
Does the staff have any input?
Yes, so I'm covering for Matt today, who was the project planner for this. I guess you mentioned that there was going to be an incoming or anticipated residential development in there. Could you kind of go more into that, and also just, kind of, I don't know if you have specifics to what degree you have specifics on that, but any more details that you could add would be great. And then I anticipate that there will be some easements involved, given there are lot line windows. Could you go into that as well?
Yeah, sure. So there's no development proposed before this board this evening. There can be a building that's built here without any variances, and if there is a building proposed in the future that has variances, it would have to come back before this board. But we don't have any specific plans at this time, so we would just be speculating on that. In terms of easement, there will be a maintenance easement. I believe Matt had me upload that to the portal as well. So there is a copy of the maintenance easement on the portal, which just allows for the access along the common boundary line to maintain the improvement. So you have permission to walk onto the adjacent property to maintain the adjoining walls and windows and all of that.
Great. Thank you. So in terms of staff comments, staff agrees with the applicant's planner's analysis that this subdivision doesn't pose any sort of detriment to the zone plan or to the public welfare. See it as a good opportunity to provide space for additional infill residential development that, as mentioned, could provide housing for those for a diverse set of clientele or income-based clientele. And it appears that it also would kind of help preserve the existing building that has architectural, historical, cultural significance. So given that, I would like to ask the applicant if they've had the chance to review the conditions from the staff memo dated June 22nd, 2026.
Yes, I was just pulling that up. Now there are 3 conditions there. Those conditions are acceptable. There is a forestry comment on the portal. It's just very general, though, basically telling us we need to follow the ordinance and the regulations. So of course we agree to that as well.
Sure. Okay, so given that, staff can recommend approval.
You're good?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so may I have a motion to approve?
Yes, Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve case Z 2025-0067 as presented to the board this evening.
I'll second. I'll second.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner
Yeah.
Allen,
Yes.
Commissioner Chaplicki,
Yes.
Commissioner Patel,
Yes.
Commissioner Coviello,
Yes.
Commissioner D'Angelo,
Yes.
Commissioner Burns,
Yes.
and Commissioner, Acting Chair Urkel.
Yes.
All right.
Motion
Thank you
carries
all.
7-0.
Have a wonderful evening.
You too.
You too.
Bye. Thank you so much. Okay, so our last case is a Z 2026-0031, and it's the appeal of a zoning administrative determination, 58 Thomas McGovern Drive, and it's by John J. Lamb, Esquire. Mr. Lamb?
Could you raise your hand? If you're part of the applicant's team, I think I see Charles Raboli here, who's the attorney. Okay, I've elevated Charles as a panelist. Mr. Raboli, could you hear us?
Or Bowie?
You're
Oh,
on
Mr.
mute.
Yes,
Yeah.
there we are. Good evening, and let me bring up my video as well.
Okay.
There I am.
There you are.
Good evening. My name is Charles Raboli, Rabolli. I'm an attorney with the law firm of Beatty Padovano, and this is an appeal of the zoning officer's decision with regard to issuing a sign permit. This comes to you under NJSA 40:55 D70A, an appeal of the zoning officer's decision. It is not an application for development, therefore it does not require notice, but obviously, Anglo-American legal cultures, we provide notice. So for the record, I uploaded some proofs earlier in the day to your portal, and I will identify them that Exhibit CC, as in Charles, was a letter that was personally served via Federal Express on the parties, and GG is the standard notice published in the newspaper and people within 200 feet, which again was not necessary, but I did it anyhow. Let me first ask, is there any other party here who might be representing the applicant? Or I'm sorry, the developer, the property owner. Is there anybody out there? No? Okay, that's fine. So what I did, hopefully this will go smoothly. I have a PowerPoint presentation to walk through what this is about. I think that will make it go relatively smoothly again. So hold on one second.
Charles, I'm sorry. While you're doing it, I might have missed it. Did you say who you represent?
I represent Liberty Storage, which is a couple hundred yards away from the developer.
Thank you.
Okay, so here's where we are. This is an appeal of the zoning officer's decision under ZRA 2026-00214. That is on the portal, obviously, and so that's how we're working the appeal. The issue is a sign permit wrongfully granted. The property address is 58 Thomas McGovern Drive. The appellant, which is us, is Liberty Storage, and then I am Charles Raboli. And this particular matter has the docket number, as you noted, Z 2026-0031, and all exhibits have been uploaded to the portal. Okay. So why is Liberty Storage before the board? This is an appeal of the March 18th, 2026 zoning officer's decision to issue interim use banner permit to public storage. The appeal was filed April 6, 2026 through the Jersey City's online portal, and the municipal land use law provides that you can appeal a zoning officer's decision within 20 days. Traditionally, what you would see would be a developer who got a denial, and the developer files with the board for an A, to have the interpretation, and at the same time a D for the variance. If you find that the zoning officer was correct, then we request the use variance. Okay, so it's a little different when it's a neighbor, but it is permitted under the MLUL. So the permit was wrongfully issued because the interim use banner violates the Jersey City ordinances and design standards, the planning board resolution, and Liberty Harbor redevelopment plan. So this is the subject property. I'm going to note this is a photo that was taken in June, and you can see you have the traditional single sign on the front that says public storage, and then on what is the side of the building, basically covering approximately about a third of the building, is a sign that says public storage now open and the phone number. Now, so this is the actual sign, and we have another issue, but it doesn't relate specifically to the zoning officer. This is what was submitted by the developer for the permit. This sign, obviously, it says exactly what the one on the building says, but what it indicates to you is that the width of the building is 80 feet, and it says where you can see existing tension frame is 80 feet, and above it, the new banner is 60 feet in width, which would mean, obviously, that there's 10 feet to the left and 10 feet to the right. And this was what was approved by your zoning department. I'm going to flip back for a second. And if you look at this, you see that it does not conform, that sign goes from side to side rather than having a 10-foot indentation on both sides. So the public storage interim use banner is approximately 1,970 feet, which is the 60 feet times the 37 feet. And you can eyeball it's about approximately 30% of the facade of the building. It extends above the second floor of the building. It's constructed of mesh, it's attached to a metal frame, and it's rectangular in shape. And these facts are relevant because of your particular codes. So the interim use banner is illegal. It violates Jersey City ordinances and the design standards. It violates Jersey City Planning Board resolution. It violates the Liberty Harbor redevelopment plan. It's not interim, and it's not a banner. So here are the violations with regard to the Jersey City ordinance and design standards. A banner is limited to no more than 5% of the facade. A banner must be wider at the top and narrower at the bottom. A sign cannot be above the second story. A sign cannot block windows or doors used for entry or standpipes. With regard to that particular one, we could not see what's behind the sign, so that may or may not be an actual violation, in fairness to everybody. It must be consistent with the architecture of the building, and it must be proportionate and not dominate the building. And I think that you can use your own discretion to see that it clearly is not proportional and does dominate the building. So that's the Jersey City law. With regard to the Liberty Harbor redevelopment plan, that indicates that signs, quote, shall be minimal in size, close quote. Signs should be of a material consistent with that of the principal structure of the building, and only one sign per establishment is permitted, not to exceed 10% of the first story portion. So again, all these are also violated. Further, this property was subject to a planning board resolution P21-20, and this quote is from the resolution itself. The planning board finds that the applicant proposed one project identification sign that reads public storage, which is proposed on the facade of the building. The project identification sign is less than 10% of the first story of the building and is compliant with the sign area requirements of the redevelopment plan at 189.9 square feet. So your planning board approved the property and made no accommodation for them being able to put a very large sign on the building. Okay. And then definitionally, the interim use banner is not interim. Your code defines interim as a use approved by the planning board applied on a temporary basis as prescribed while permanent plans for the area are formulated or implemented. So reading that in context is that if you had a building under construction or being remodeled At that point in time, you may be able to put up a temporary banner until it's constructed, until you can get your regular sign up. But there's really no reading of this to permit you to put up on a fully established building that's been open for years, then put up a temporary banner or an interim banner outside. Also, it's not a banner because the definition of a banner is, again, a temporary sign of cloth or similar material that celebrates an event, the community, the neighborhood. And you don't have that here. This is purely a commercial enterprise, so it doesn't qualify as a banner under the definition from the Complete Illustrated Book of Developmental Definitions. So that's really it in a nutshell. I did that pretty much in one breath, but I think that we've met the burden of proof in showing the various violations. The particular code sites I uploaded as part of my letter earlier today as well. Clearly, if anybody wants them, I could go through them, but they are all listed in the Jersey City Ordinance under signs that have all those qualifications. So with that, I would ask that you memorialize a reversal of the zoning officer's decision that this sign/banner is inappropriate for the location.
It's not appropriate for the location?
It's not appropriate. That's correct. It is the grant of the permit was in error and should be reversed.
Madam Acting
Okay.
Chair, so we don't get confused with reversing and this and that and the other thing. First of all, Joe, is there anybody from the public interested in this?
I haven't gotten any correspondence from anybody in the public.
And there's nobody raising their hands?
I'm not seeing anybody from the public raising their hands on this.
Okay, so let's make this as simple as possible.
Please.
First of all, the Mr. Roboli is in time making this appeal. From his presentation, it seems to be clearly an error. And let's just hear what staff has to say. Staff, you have a comment on this?
I do. Thank you.
Okay.
So Mr. Arboli makes a pretty comprehensive argument on what
Yes.
the violations of the sign. But I think our analysis is pretty straightforward in it that the sign as approved, it does not comply with one to interim use banner size limits. As mentioned, the limit is about 5% of the facade surface area, the facade surface area is about 6,580 square feet, which would allow for a sign that's at the largest 329 square feet. What was built was almost 4 times the size of that. So, I think just given that alone, I think it shouldn't have been approved as it was. I think given that, that's more enough reasons for us to, or for me to, recommend approval of the appeal or granting of the appeal.
Okay.
I-
So we make this simple for us. If there is a motion to grant this appeal, it means we're reversing this interim permit that was given, obviously an error. But if anybody wants to make a motion, let's hear what the motion will be.
Well, before we make a motion, Benny, I have a question.
Yes.
Wouldn't this, as of now, be an enforcement issue? Because Mr. Robelli, excuse me, am I pronouncing it right?
Like a Stromboli.
Okay, Mr.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So
Robola.
yeah, okay. So he made a strong case, and he pointed something out that it was approved for 60 feet and not 80 feet, right? Okay. They took it upon themselves to make it 80 feet. Wouldn't this now be an enforcement case, and who would enforce it? Us?
Sure.
Well,
No,
that's
I
a good-
can address that. So with regard to it being more than 5% of the side of the building,
Yes.
it was issued in error on that ground alone.
Yes, I understand that. Yes.
All right. So that is the issue before the board with regard to a reversal of the zoning officer's decision to grant the permit. What I mentioned in passing was that, hey, by the way, you're absolutely right with regard to enforcement, is that what the as-built is not what the proposed was. So that might be a separate issue. The only thing I'm here for tonight is with regard to just a reversal of the zoning officer's decision.
Okay.
Your planning department or zoning department might decide as well now that they now have an enforcement issue and take it upon themselves to go issue a violation for that as well.
Okay. Understood. Thank you.
Thank you.
So it seems logically, maybe step one is to say, this was an error, let's reverse
Yes.
it.
Okay.
And then where it goes from there, who is certainly not us who's
Okay.
enforcing
No,
it.
okay.
Unless,
Okay.
unless Jeff, you want to go out there and paint it. And that could be one issue. But
Okay.
no,
No,
I think,
no, no.
I think
Can we-
that should be the motion. Well,
Yeah, can you
Okay.
close, Mr. Robelli, can you close your, is this you? Is this you?
you're
or
sharing
me?
the screen.
Let me share. Bear with me a second. I apologize. There we go.
There you go, great.
Thank you.
Okay, now, so I'm making a motion to deny the appeal or approve the appeal.
No, you're gonna make a motion, I would assume, if you're agreeing with Mr. Robelli, we're agreeing to affirm his appeal,
Okay.
which really means we're reversing that permit.
Yeah, okay.
And
Okay.
so once we reversed,
Just stick with in your
reverse,
mind, if you want to reverse the permit,
then it just, they have to take
you're
everything.
affirming his appeal, period.
Okay, but they have to then that they have to take the sign out. Is that correct? Or they have to reduce the sign?
Well,
What
it-
are they
it's
gonna
up
do
to-
with this?
It's up to either our planning department to decide what they're doing now with this, because now the permit has been issued in error.
Uh-huh.
It's a violation.
Yeah.
Or, planning staff takes it this way, Mr. Robelli takes it another way with the building department or municipal court. I really don't know.
Right.
Okay.
Zoning would just
Yeah.
enforce.
But
All right, so can I have-
is step one is the sign is not appropriate.
Okay, so can I have a second on that, please? A second?
I'll second.
Okay. All right, can I have a roll call?
Yes. Commissioner Allen,
Yes.
Commissioner Coviello,
Yes.
Commissioner Triplicki,
Yes.
Commissioner Patel,
Yes.
Commissioner D'Angelo,
Yes.
Commissioner Burns,
Yes.
and Acting Chair Arujo.
Yes.
Our motion carries 7-0. The appeal is affirmed.
Very good.
Okay.
Thank you very
Mr.
much.
Roboli,
You all have a nice evening.
you
Thank
as
you.
well.
Thank
Take
you.
care. Okay. So with that said, or that done,
I think we have resolutions, right?
the only thing left on
Yep.
the agenda is two resolutions to approve.
Mhm.
Shall we
Okay.
do that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, the first is case Z 2024-0063. It was a minor site plan with a C variance for 100 DeKalb Avenue. The applicant, I'll spell it because I cannot say it. The applicant is Lik. Middle name is Yeunj. Last name Li. So that application was heard on February 5th of, this says 2026, yeah, this year. And present on February 5th was Acting Chairwoman Arroyo, Commissioners Shadid, D'Angelo, Zablicki, Burns, and Coviello. And that application passed 6 in favor, none opposed. All in favor of approving that?
Aye.
Aye.
I,
And the
Aye.
next resolution to approve is case Z 2025-0057. The applicant was Nicholas Gualteros, that's Gualteros. It was a signage approval with a C variance for 188 Newark Avenue. That was heard on June 4th. Present on June 4th of 2026. Present on June 4th was Chairwoman Coyle, Commissioners Allen, Patel, D'Angelo, Shadid, and Arroyo. That passed 6 in favor, none opposed. All in favor of approving that?
Aye.
Aye.
That's all the resolutions to approve, and presumably that's all the business we have, correct?
Okay, so can I have a motion? Yes, right? Okay, so can I have a motion to adjourn? Nobody?
A
I,
motion.
come on, nobody
I'll
wants to make
I'll
that
make a motion.
I second.
Vicky.
Second.
Okay.
All right.
Vinny, I have
all
a-
in favor?
Everyone.
Aye.
Aye.
Bye, everybody.
So
Take
we'll
care.
see you in
See
August.
you next month.
Take
Take
care.
care, thank you.
I have
Thank you, guys.
I have a question before you go, Vinny.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
Is your pressure, did
All
your
right, should
pressure
we
go
shut
up?